से। दुनिया हंसी है जो नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। दुनिया हंसी है जो प्रेम नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। प्रेम के बिन इंसान है खाली। प्रेम के बिन इंसान है खाली। बिन कुर्बानी के प्रेम है खाली। प्रेम के बिन इंसान नहीं है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। दुनिया हंसी है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। जेकर प्रेम खेलन का है चाओ जी। जेकर प्रेम खेलन का है चाओ जी। शीस गली पे रख गली फिर आओ जी। शीस गली पे रख गली फिर आओ जी। प्रेम का मार्ग फिर ही सही है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। दुनिया हंसी है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। इस मार्ग फिर पैर दीजै सिर दीजै पर कान न दीजै। इस मार्ग फिर पैर दीजै सिर दीजै पर कान न दीजै। डरपोकों का ये काम नहीं है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। दुनिया हंसी है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। प्रेम लगाना तो हर कोई जाने। प्रेम निभाना कोई कोई जाने। प्रेम लगाना तो हर कोई जाने। प्रेम निभाना कोई कोई जाने। प्रेम निभाने वाला मिला कहीं है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। दुनिया हंसी है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है प्रेम से ही। प्रेमी का प्रीतम ईमान है। प्रेमी का प्रीतम दीन ईमान है। उसके बगैर वीराना जहान है। उसके बगैर वीराना जहान है। प्रीतम जहाँ है वहाँ वही है जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है शाह सतनाम जी की बात सही है, जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है। प्रेम से ही ये दुनिया सी है, जो प्रेम नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है। प्रेम से ही ये धन धन सदगुरु तेरा ही आशा, धन धन सदगुरु तेरा ही आशा। हाँ जी भाई जी बोलो। हाँ जी चलो भाई जी। हाँ जी
बात
बिक्की
ये
का
है
तो
भाई,
बोलना
है ना भाई?
बोलो भाई जी।
बोलो आप ही बोलो। ऑनलाइन टाइम ओ भाई ने
धन धन सदगुरु जी तेरा ही आशा, धन धन सदगुरु जी तेरा ही आशा। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। आज के दिन लेकर आए, आज के दिन लेकर आए दो जान का खजाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। बलूचिस्तान में चरण टिकाए ऐ मेरे सिर ताज, बलूचिस्तान में चरण टिकाए ऐ मेरे सिर ताज। पिता बिलमल जी का घर रोशनाया तूने मेरे दिलदार, पिता बिलमल जी का घर रोशनाया तूने मेरे दिलदार। माता तुलसाबाई जी के, हुआ पिया कयाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। चेहरा नूरो नूर रूहानी चांद सूरज शर्माए, चेहरा नूरो नूर रूहानी चांद सूरज शर्माए। नूर की किरण से हर कोई महके जिसने भी दर्शन पाए, नूर की किरण से हर कोई महके जिसने दर्शन पाए। खेल बचपन में साईं जी के, खेल बचपन में साईं जी के बस्तिका में खाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। आज के दिन लेकर आए, आज के दिन लेकर आए तो जा तक जाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी, साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। रूह के आज भाग में जाके आए सृजनहार, रूह के आज भाग में जाके आए सृजनहार। काल अगन में जो जल रही थी हो गई ठंडी ठार, काल अगन में जो जल रही थी हो गई ठंडी ठार। तन तन मेरे साईं दाता, तन तन मेरे साईं दाता। पाखंड का बोलबाला हुआ था जग में चारों ओर।
पाखंड का बोलबाला हुआ था जग में चारों ओर।
रूहों को जाल में ऐसा फसाया भूल गई असली ठोर।
रूहों को जाल में ऐसा फसाया भूल गए असली ठोर।
जाल पकड़ से दाता जी तू, जाल पकड़ से दाता जी तू आके बचाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। आज के दिन लेकर आए, आज के दिन लेकर आए तो जाना खजाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। कसम लगा कर तूने तोड़े काल के भरम भुले के। कसम लगा कर तूने तोड़े काल के भरम भुले के। गुजर गई तो ना पछताओ रहती लगा लो लेके। गुजर गई तो ना पछताओ रहती लगा लो लेके। नाम की महिमा सुना सुना के, तारे जमाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी ओ मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी ओ मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। प्यार की तेरे अक्त कथा है ऐ मेरे बलोचिस्तानी। प्यार की तेरे अक्त कथा है ऐ मेरे बलोचिस्तानी। चोलादार के वीर बने आया तू ही शासत नामी।
चोलादार के तू बने आया शासत नामी।
तू ही शासत नामी। नीत काक गुण गाए तेरे, मीत काक गुण गाए तेरे सतनाम मस्ताना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। आज के दिन लेकर आए, आज के दिन लेकर आए तो जाकर खजाना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। साईं मस्ताना जी मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी। सजदा 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 करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदा सजदा करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। माँ हमें पधारे प्यारे सतगुर, माँ हमें पधारे प्यारे सतगुर। खुशियों से झोलियां भरते हैं। सजदा 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 करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदा सजदा करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। धन्यवाद पिता धरत आकाश को, धन दीन पाया दूर पर काश को। धन काल वो चरण जहाँ धरते हैं। सजदा 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 करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदा सजदा करते हैं नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। बचपन से दिल किया कमाल जी खुद को जताते रहे दयाल जी। वही समझे जिस पे दया करते हैं, वही समझे जिस पे दया करते हैं। सजदा सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, खुशियों से झोली अंग भरते हैं। सजदा 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 करते हैं। घोर कलयुग में छाया अंधकार जी, तड़प रहे थे सब नर नार जी। बचाओ मालिक जित जी मरते हैं, बचाओ मालिक जित जी मरते हैं। सजदा सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। खाना पीना समझे माश शराब को, दोनों जहां में करे बर्बाद जो। तो शैतानों के काम सब करते हैं। सजदा सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। पाखंड कथा हो रहा बोल वाला जी, ऊपर से बाक हो रहा है अंदर काला जी। लता आए जो अंदर नूर भरते हैं, लता आए जो अंदर नूर भरते हैं। सजदा सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, खुशियों से झोली अंग भरते हैं। सजदा सजदाई सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। गांव शहर जाके ढोल नाम का बजाया जी, गफलत की नींद से है जगाया जी। जो करके ऐसा न भरते हैं, जो करके ऐसा न भरते हैं। सजदा सजदा ही सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदा ही सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, वहाँ में पधारे प्यारे सतगुरु, खुशियों से झोली अंग भरते हैं। सजदा सजदा ही सजदा करते हैं, पापियों के पाप तुझ धोजी डाले। उज्जवल किए जो थे काले काले। बिंदाम नाम से झोलियां भरते हैं, बिंदाम नाम से झोलियां भरते हैं। सजदा 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 करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। सजदा सजदा करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। दस दस मीत खा के कैसे गाए जी, लाखों युगों से भी गुण जाए न गाए जी। शस्त्राम जी करते हैं। सजदा 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 करते हैं, नमन सभी को हम करते हैं। धन धन सतगुरु जी तेरा ही आसरा। धन धन शहंशाह बेपरवाह, शहंशाहों के शहंशाह श्याम स्थान जी महाराज बेपरवाह के बेपरवाह। तेरा ही आसरा जिसने जपाया अंदर वाला राम, तेरा ही आसरा मंगल में मंगल करने वाला राम, तेरा ही आसरा। शहंशाहों के शहंशाह श्याम स्थान बलोचिस्तानी जी, तेरा ही आसरा।
आज शनिवार मैं कदे आंदे नहीं 2 मिनट है शनिवार
बुलाओ उनको, बुला लो,
मैं कदे आंदे
बुलाओ उनको, बुला लो भाई, बुला लो हैं, बोलो अंदर नाम चर्चा चल रही है,
तेरा बात सुन बुला रहे हैं
मैं तो वाई दो
बाहर मिल जाएगी, बुला लो
बाबे सदी आंदे
चार्ज करना पड़ता है
हां
चार्ज
शहनशाहों के शहनशाह शाह मस्ताना शाह बेपरवाह जी, तेरा ही आसरा, धन धन सतगुरु जी तेरा ही आसरा। करे शाह मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, 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 मेरे शाह मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, आज आई करने वाले मस्त मस्त, आज आई करने वाले मस्त मस्त, करे शाह मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, सबको दाता मस्त बनाए, सबको दाता बनाए, पापी हो या खाली हस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, आज आई करने वाले मस्त मस्त, आज आई करने वाले मस्त मस्त, पिता पिलमल जी के दाता आए, माता तुलसा जी शगुन बनाए, धरती ब्राह्मण में गूंजी शहनाई, रवि जोत है जी दर्द पे आई, रूहों में बसा है छाया, रूहों में बसा है छाया, छाया है जी जबरदस्त, कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, रोशन हुए खंड ब्रह्मांड सारे, दो जहां के दाता जी पधारे, बचपन में खेले खेल अजब निराले, बचपन में खेले खेल अजब निराले, हर दिल को जी दाता मोह डाले, हर दिल को जी दाता मोह डाले, देखे जो भी नूर नूरानी, देखे जो भी नूर नूरानी, देखते ही हो जाए मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, करे श्याम मस्त मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त, करे श्याम मस्ताना सच का सबको राज दिलाया, सच का सबको राज दिलाया। पकड़ो जो थे ग्रस्त ग्रस्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त और माया से पीछा छुड़ाया बंद और माया से पीछा छुड़ाया पांच चोरों से छुटकारा करवाया नाम की दात बख्शी अनमोल अनमोल दात को दिया अनमोल राम नाम अंडे के तोड़ी राम नाम अंडे के तोड़ी दादाजी ने कान दस्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरी श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरी श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त श्याम मस्ताना जी गन गन दाता पर उपकार जी तेरे गया न दाता श्याम सतनाम जी को तूने प्रगट किया हमें मिलाया जी अमरा पिया समीत जो घाट तिरुती दास काक जो भी दास मीत जो घाट तिरुती अपना बनाया मेरा भक्त भक्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त कर श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त अजाई करने वाले मस्त मस्त मेरे श्याम मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त सबको हराता मस्त बनाए सबको दाता मस्त बनाए सबको दाता मस्त बनाए पापी हो या गावी हो करे जो मस्त करे जो मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त मेरे जो मस्ताना जी मस्त मस्त सदगुरु तेरा ही आसरा शहंशाह शहंशाह श्याम स्थाना श्याम प्रभात तेरा ही आसरा धन धन सदगुरु तेरा ही आसरा शहंशाह के शहंशाह वाली दो जहान तेरा ही आसरा धन धन शहंशाह प्रभात तेरा ही आसरा जी तेरा ही आसरा हाँ जी भाई जी करो
वो है ही नहीं
करो भाई जी शुरू हो गए
भाई दो नेक्स्ट मैच
आज जो हम भाई हमें सुन रहे हैं कृपया
सत्संग पंडाल में आए
सत्संग पंडाल में आए
तेरी बाजी आ गई
चलो भाई जी बोलो आप बोलो
ओकर में अंदर ही बोलना उसी बोलो
तो खांसी हो रही गला काम
जैसा आता है बढ़िया है सतगुरु की ख्यालों में बोलना है बस
हाँ
ऐसे सही है देखना
अपने जैसा बोला जाएगा
नहीं ऐसे नहीं
सही है नंद सदगुरु जी के रही आसरा, शहर श्याम कृष्ण श्यामी प्रभा की रही आसरा। मेरे सतगुर जहां है निज धाम वहां, मन में मेरे दोनों जहां, दोनों जहां में तेरे प्यार की मिलती रहे हमें ठंडी जी छां, खुशियां वहां गुरु जी जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, शमस्ताना जी जहां है निज धाम वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, तेरे संग प्रीत सच्ची है रीत, लगी रहेंगे उम्र भर, दोनों जहां में आपके दरश, ऐसी दया दो हम पर जिगर, हम रहे वहां आप हो जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, मेरे सतगुर जहां निज धाम वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, ते गुनहगार दिया आपने प्यार, कैसे बदला चुकाएंगे हम, राज मीर आपकी जागीर से तुझे सौंप पाएंगे, तू रहे वहां तेरे मुर्शद जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, शमस्ताना जी जहां निज धाम वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, प्रेम ने मोल दे कैसे जी मोल, हमारे पास कुछ ना हमारा है, तन मन धन जो हमारे पास, दिया हुआ जी तुम्हारा है, तेरा नाम ना जहां कुछ ना वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, शमस्ताना जी जहां, शास्त्रनाम जी जहां, सतगुर जी जहां, मेरे दोनों जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां, थचली जिगर की तूने फिकर, प्यारे से तू जहां तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। मेहर तुम्हारी बदल किस्मत हमारी, मिलती रहेंगे हर पल हमें। खून रगों का हमारे चले देर से तुम्हारे, हर श्वास में याद जिकारें तुम्हें। बस देखें जहां तुम्हें पाए वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। श्यामस्ताना जी जहां, सतनाम जी जहां, सतगुरु जी जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। शासत नाम मालिक का नाम जी, दोनों जहां में गूंजे सदा। शासत नाम जी मालिक का नाम, दोनों जहां में गूंजे सदा। तेरे दर्श से सब हुए मस्त, है जुदा दोनों जहां से ज्यादा। नजर इशारा जहां, मस्त दोनों जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। श्यामस्ताना जी जहां, सतनाम जी जहां, निज धाम वहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। दास ये गीत प्रेम के गीत लिखे मेरे तुम्हारी से। दास ये गीत प्रेम के गीत लिखे मेरे तुम्हारी से। अपनी मेहर से आप ही लिखाए, ये काम न हो बुद्धि हमारी से। चरण रखे जहां, बिछाए पल के वहां, तेरे चरण में मेरे दोनों जहां। श्यामस्ताना जी जहां, मेरे दोनों जहां, तेरे चरणन में मेरे दोनों जहां। सतनाम जी जहां, मेरे दोनों जहां, चरणों में तेरे मेरे दोनों जहां। धन धन सतगुरु तेरे आसरा, शहनशाह मेरे शहनशाह, शाह मस्ताना शाह बलोचिस्तानी दाता जी तेरा ही आसरा। धन धन सतगुरु तेरा ही आसरा, हाजर नाजर जिंदा राम तेरा ही आसरा। प्राण संतों के न्यारे राम तेरा ही आसरा, जिसने जपाया अंदर वाला राम तेरा ही आसरा। जग में मंगल करने वाला राम तेरा ही आसरा। धन धन शहनशाह बेपरवाह तेरा ही आसरा, तेरा ही आसरा, तेरा ही आसरा मेरे शहनशाह बेपरवाह। तेरा ही आसरा।
आए नहीं, वो भी जाके उनका भाई
उन्हें सौ गए जाके,
वो भी चिपक गया बुलाने गया, वही नहीं आया।
फरवरी महीने में दाता आए न शादी गया। फरवरी महीने में दाता आए न शादी गया। वाली दो जहां का दाता प्यारा प्यारा, वाली दो जहां का दाता प्यारा प्यारा, दर्द पे आ गया। फरवरी महीने मेरा आए जगया। बलुचिस्तानी नूरी में खाना बनाया सोनी दत्ता ने। जलालयाना नूरी में खाना बनाया सोनी दत्ता ने। तुझे माता पिता का डेरे लाए, तुझे माता पिता घर डेरे लाए सोने में दत्ता ने। आलम सारा जिधर पाके पूरा नशिया गया। फरवरी महीने में दत्ता आए नशा जी गया। फरवरी महीने में दत्ता जी आए। जाम इलाही वो पिलाए सबको जो भी चल आ जाए। जाम इलाही वो पिलाए सबको जो भी चल आ जाए। मिलते रहो बतलाया दाता ने। प्यार करो आपसे मिलके रहो बतलाया दाता ने। एक नूर एक के हम बालक हैं। एक नूर एक के हम बालक हैं समझाया दाता ने। एक नूर एक के हम बालक हैं समझाया दाता ने। खुशियाँ जो माने बचनों पे, खुशियाँ वो माने दाता बचनों पे अमल कमा गया। फरवरी महीने दाता आए नशा जी गया। पाखंड का जी खंडन कर के सच समझाया है। पाखंड का जी खंडन कर के सच समझाया है। डोंग छोड़ो अंदर से रब पाने कहा। डोंग छोड़ो अंदर से रब पाने का रास्ता बताया है। गंद छुड़े वाला नाम नशा दिया जो मस्त बना गया। फरवरी में दाता आए नशा जी गया। विषय विकारों में फंस आदमी पाप कमाता है। विषय विकारों में फंस आदमी पाप कमाता है। गंदगी को खाए चटकार लेके, गंदगी को खाए चटकार लेके पदार्थ नमाता है। तेरा सोना प्यारा ये संदेश जीवों को बचा रहा। फरवरी महीने में दाता आए नशा जी गया। फरवरी महीने में दाता आए नशा जी गया। वाली तो जहां का दाता प्यारा प्यारा, वाली तो जहां का दाता प्यारा प्यारा गया। फरवरी महीने में दाता आए नशा जी गया। फरवरी महीने में दाता आए नशा जी गया। मतलब सत्संग का है क्या समझाया दाता ने। मतलब सत्संग का है क्या समझाया दाता ने, पैसा ना चढ़े बात रब की करे, पैसा ना चढ़े बात रब की करे, ये फरमाया दाता ने। नाम अनमोल बिन मोल जोल सबसे जी पारे हा, फरवरी महीने में दाता आए वर्षा जी जगया, फरवरी महीने जनवरी महीने नवंबर महीने दाता आए वर्षा जी जगया। अमृत बाणी बसी रग रग में सोने प्यारे दाता की, अमृत बाणी बसी रग रग में सोने प्यारे दाता की, नशे की कुमारी सी चढ़ती जाए, नशे की कुमारी सी चढ़ती जाए, वाणी सुन दाता की, नशे की कुमारी सी चढ़ती जाए, वाणी सुन दाता की। शाह सतनाम प्यारा माही, शाह मस्ताना प्यारा माही, हमने जी पाले जनवरी महीने में, फरवरी महीने में, नवंबर महीने में, अगस्त महीने में दाता आए नशा जी जगया, जनवरी महीने में दाता आए नशा जी जगया। खाक मीत तेरा ही गुलाम जी ना कोई और भाए, खाक मीत तेरा ही है गुलाम जी ना कोई और भाए, लूलू तेरा ही नाम गाए, लूलू तेरा ही नाम गाए कुछ और न गाए, लूलू तेरा ही नाम गाए कुछ और न गाए, नशा तेरे दर्श दीदार वाला रूह को नचाए जनवरी महीने फरवरी महीने नवंबर महीने अगस्त महीने दाता आए नशा जी जगया, काली दो जहां का दाता प्यारा प्यारा दर्श पे आ गया। धन धन सदगुरु जी तेरे आशीर्वाद। चलो भाई जी, शहनशाहों के शहनशाह बेपरवाहों के बेपरवाह दाता जी तेरा ही आसरा, शहनशाह बेपरवाह तेरा ही आसरा, धन धन धन
थोड़ी
धन
मध्य
धन
बची आती है।
धन शाह बस्ताना शाह बलूचिस्तानी
हाँ भाई,
दाता
थोड़ी मध्य बची आती है।
गाओ रे तुम्हारी कर रही है।
थोड़ी हेलो हेलो
धन धन सदगुरु जी के रही आसरा,
धन धन
शहनशाहों के
सतगुरु
शहनशाह
तेरे ही
शाह
आसरा।
बस्ताना शाह बलूचिस्तानी दाता जी के रही आसरा। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। जब चढ़े ये नशा तो, जब चढ़े ये नशा तो सब गमों को भुलाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। प्रेम नशा अनोखा मस्ती कहीं न जाए। बागों वाला है पाता सतगुर का हो जो जाए। चढ़े नाम की कुमारी, चढ़े नाम की कुमारी हर पल मस्त बनाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। मीरा को इस नशे ने मस्तो मस्त बनाया। जहर के प्याले को प्रभु अमृत था बनाया। प्रेम आग काला नाग, प्रेम आग काला नाग नौ लखा हार हो जाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। धन्य पे प्रेम ने जी ऐसा रंग था चढ़ाया। प्रभु ने पानी लगाया सब पशुओं को चराया। प्रेम में मस्त हो गया, प्रेम में मस्त हो गया। कण कण में दर्श पाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। प्रेम गुरु का ऐसा वर्णन किया न जाए। प्रेम गुरु का ऐसा वर्णन किया न जाए। गमों से हो छुटकारा मस्ती का आलम छाए। प्रेमी वो मस्त प्रेम में, प्रेमी वो मस्त प्रेम में मस्ती के गीत गाए। प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया में मिल न पाए। प्रेम प्याला जो पिए सब कुछ है अपना वारी। तेरा था तुझको अर्पण क्या पास था हमारी। होश बुलाए तन की, होश बुलाए तन की जीते जी पल लुभाए। प्रभु प्रेम में सतनाम जी से नशा कार तज के पाया, दासन दास खाक को प्रभु निमित बनाया, किए जो उपकार, किए जो उपकार, गाए न गाता गाए, प्रभु प्रेम में नशा जो दुनिया साडे उपर जो कीते उपकार, साडे उपर जो कीते उपकार, पिता शाह सतनाम जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह मस्तान जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह सतनाम जी। साडे उपर जो कीते उपकार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। पर ऐसी गुणा दे पिता जी प्यारिया, ओ गुणहारा नूं तुसी छाती नाल ला लिया। पर ऐसी गुणा दे पिता जी प्यारिया, ओ गुणहारा नूं तुसी छाती नाल ला लिया। साडे गुणा दा चुक लिया पार, साडे गुणा दा चुक लिया पार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। सिद्धी नरक विच गड़े असीं गंद सी, नरकां च साड़दे जे अपना बचत जी। काल जेल विचों कढ दित्ते बाहर, काल जेल विचों कढ दित्ते बाहर, पिता शाह एमएस जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। काम ते करो दी असीं मतलब यार सी, विश ते विकारी साडा बड़ा बुरा हाल सी। काम ते करो दी असीं मतलब यार सी, विश ते विकारी साडा बड़ा बुरा हाल सी। साडी आत्मा नूं दिता जी सुधार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। शहनशाह अनामी दे की गुण गावां जी, तेरे मिठे चोजां नूं मैं समझ ना पावां जी। पता नहीं सी आया पालनहार, पता नहीं सी आया पालनहार, पिता शाह एमएस जी। दिता रूह नूं जो मिठड़ा प्यार, पिता शाह मस्तान जी। पिता जी प्यारे सदा तेरे गुण गावां जी, एक पल याद तेरे दिलों ना भुलावां जी। पिता जी प्यारे सदा तेरे गुण गावां जी, पल याद तेरी दिलों ना भुलावां जी सानू ताकत दे परवरदिगार सानू ताकत दे परवरदिगार पिता शाह दिता रूह मुझे विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह दिता रूह मुझे विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह तेरा प्यार हर पल रहे साडे साथ जी दर्शना दी लगी रही हर पल प्यास जी तेरा प्यार हर पल रहे साडे साथ जी दर्शना दी लगी रही हर पल प्यास जी तेरे चरणा चाहे हो अरदास तेरे चरणा चाहे हो अरदास पिता शाह दिता रूह नू जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह दिता रूह नू जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह दिता रूह नू जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह मन है जलिंद प्या चरित्र दिखांदा जी वचन तुहाडा सानू हर पल बचांदा जी मन है जलिंद प्या चरित्र दिखांदा जी वचन तुहाडा सानू हर पल बचांदा जी तुहाडी दया मेर होई जी अपार तुहाडी दया मेर होई जी अपार पिता शाह दिता रूह नू विछड़ा पिता शाह अनामी चौ सतगुर चल के आए जी साडे लई लखाई दुखड़े उठाए जी सतगुर गीता बारे उपकार सतगुर गीता बारे उपकार पिता शाह जी साडे ऊपर जो कीते उपकार पिता शाह जी दिन रात समझाया सतगुर प्यारिया अपने आराम लई कदे ना विचारिया हर वेले कीता नाम प्रचार हर वेले कीता नाम प्रचार पिता शाह साडे रूह दिता रूह जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह साडे ऊपर जो कीते उपकार पिता शाह सतनाम जी तेरा ही उपकार सातू जांदा नहीं गिनाया जी साडे उत्ते तू सगुर तरस कमाया जी तेरी महिमा है अपरंपार तेरी महिमा है अपरंपार पिता शाह दिता रूह जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह दिता रूह जो विछड़ा प्यार पिता शाह सतगुरु जी तेरा ही आसरा शहनशाह के शहनशाह शाह मस्ताना शाह बलूचिस्तानी जी तेरा ही आसरा जिसने जो पाया अंदर वाला राम तेरा ही आसरा वाली दो जहान तेरा ही आसरा आई जी फरवरी प्यारी प्यारी
आई जी फरवरी प्यारी
आई जी फरवरी प्यारी प्यारी मालिक लाई जी कर मोये वाली मालिक लाई जी कर मोये वाली क्या मस्ताना जी क्या सतनाम जी आए जी आज प्यारे 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 रूह के आए जी आज बन जा रे रूह के आए जी आज बन जा आज के दिन हुई जग रोशनाई, कण कण गूंज उठी शहनाई, शाहस्ताना जी आज पधारे, दर्द पे आए जग सिरजनहारे, दर्द पे आए जग सिरजनहारे। शाहस्ताना जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे, प्यारे प्यारे रूह के आए आज बंजारे। तड़पती रूहों की पुकार सुनी दाता, हमको बचाओ मेरी दीवी दाता। काल सताए हमें ऐ रब, हमको बचाने दाता आओगे कब, हमको बचाने दाता आओगे कब। आई जी परवर प्यारी प्यारी, प्यारी प्यारी मालिक लाई जी करे मोये वाली, मालिक लाई जी करे मोये वाली। शाहस्ताना जी, शाहस्ताना जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे, प्यारे प्यारे रूह के आए जी आज बने जा रे, रूह के आए जी आज बने जा रे। धन धन मात पिता जिन जाए, धन वो धरती जाना चरण टिकाए। शाहस्ताना जी जिन्हों बताया, शाह सतनाम जी का सारा भेद बताया, शाह सतनाम जी का सारा भेद बताया। आई जी फरवरी प्यारी प्यारी, प्यारी प्यारी मालिक लाई जी कर मोये वाली, मालिक लाई जी कर मोये वाली। शाहस्ताना जी संगत को बताया, रूह से मालिक शाह सतनाम जी बनाया। बात समझाई सबको दाता, इनसे ही रखना तुम सच्चा नाता, माने ना वो नरक में जाता। आई जी बड़े बड़ी प्यारी प्यारी, प्यारी 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 मालिक लाई जी करे मोये वाली, मालिक लाई जी करे मोये वाली। मन माया का काल जाल बनाया, ऋषियों का चोगा पारू को फंसाया। रुचि लाई इसमें बस के, बच नहीं सकते खुदा बिंदरश के, बच नहीं सकते रबा बिंदरश के। शाहस्ताना जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे, प्यारे प्यारे रूह के आए जी आज बने जा रे, रूह के आए जी आज बने जा रे। एक दूजे से सब झगड़ रहे थे, इंसानियत को ना समझ रहे थे, मनमत का कोई फायदा उठाए, एक दूजे को रब के नाम पे लड़ाए, एक दूजे को रब के नाम पे लड़ाए। आई आई जी, आई आई जी, परवरी प्यारी प्यारी,
प्यारी प्यारी प्यारी
मालिक लाई जी कर मोहे वाली, रब के नाम पे ठगी मचाए, करके पाखंड धन कमाए, रब का नाम सुनाए पाकेवल जी, नोट इकट्ठे कर पढ़ते हैं चल जी, नोट इकट्ठे कर पढ़ते हैं चल जी। आई आई जी,
आई जी
आई जी, भरवरी प्यारी प्यारी,
प्यारी प्यारी प्यारी
मालिक लाई जी कर मुझे वाली, मालिक लाई जी कर मुझे वाली। श्याम मस्ताना जी, श्याम मस्ताना जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे,
प्यारे प्यारे प्यारे
लोगों के आए आज बन जाए, लोगों के आए आज बन जाए। सत्संग बिना ना समझ जी आए, गुरु बिना ना कोई सच बताए, शासत नाम जी सच बताया, समझे तो वो संगत में आया, बचनों पे जिसने अमल कमाया। श्याम मस्ताना जी, शासत नाम जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे,
प्यारे
आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे, लोगों के आए जी आज भंडारे, लोगों के आए जी आज भंडारे, लोगों के आए जी आज भंडारे। मुर्शिद जी के गुण लिखे ना जाए, रोम रोम जुबाओं को भी न गा पाए, मुर्शिद जी के गुण लिखे ना जाए, रोम रोम जुबाओं को भी न गा पाए, दासन दास को मित बनाया, कि उपकार दाता जाए न गाया, कि उपकार दाता जाए न गाया। श्याम मस्ताना जी, शासत नाम जी आए जी आज प्यारे प्यारे, प्यारे प्यारे, लोगों के आए जी आज बन जाए, लोगों के आए जी आज बन जाए। धन धन सद्गुरु तेरे आसरा, शहंशाह के शहंशाह श्याम मस्ताना शाह बलूचिस्तानी दाता तेरा ही आसरा, धन धन सद्गुरु तेरे ही आसरा, हाजर नाजर जिंदा राम तेरा ही आसरा, जिसने जपाया अंदर वाला राम तेरा ही आसरा, जंगल में मंगल करने वाले राम तेरा ही आसरा, शहंशाह के शहंशाह, बेप्रवाह के बेप्रवाह तेरा ही आसरा, तेरा ही आसरा।
जो से भाई आए पलटाने में आने कोशिश करे वही कौन नहीं।
Today it is very nice time, nice place, nice section. We are appreciating, praising, admiring our omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Lord or God, who is always with us, everywhere with us. He was, He is, and He will. There is that supreme power who is always inside us, within us. It is really a matter of proud for everyone, because this Indian land is known as the land of spiritual fathers. mentors, starters, initiators, and beginners, minting money on the name God, a great curse. Many people generally tell a lie and cheat others all the day.
ये बंद करना
Many people generally tell a lie and cheat others all the day and are lost in sensual pleasures at night. In the morning, after taking bath, they take out from their pocket a 1 rupee note or take certain flowers or anything else as offerings and present the same to their God, whom they believe in, saying, O God, forgive our past sins. We may think why they had not prayed to God for future sins or for the light of wisdom for their God. It is because they are quite sure that God is not to run away from that place and they would get their tomorrow's sins forgiven
बहुत बढ़िया
on the other day by offering another rupee and so on. Does it mean that God accepts bribe and will forgive all the sins after taking your 1 rupee? Is he waiting for 4 or 5 of his disciples to come and give him 10,
चार बजे
20
हाँ
rupees so that he may visit some restaurant to have his meals? What a wonder! People think that God
मैप
is
रख ले भाई
like a toy. They cheat and rob the innocent people on the name of God. Since then, the man had started this business of cheating others on the name of God is not known. On the other hand, neither God nor his devotees have ever written anywhere as such to cheat in this manner. Suppose a man comes in your city and reads out the holy scriptures of great men before you and tells you that God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. The truthful people know that all this is true, and so they become followers of the particular man. But later on, that man spreads cloth before the people and asks them to donate money in the name of God. Just think of it as God has given you brain. On one hand, man says that God is the creator of the whole universe, and on the other hand, he asks you to offer money on the name of God. How strange! When God can create the whole universe and the human
आ जा
beings,
सामने आया
then can he not mint money which is made by man ever? If he can, then why there is this
हैं
cheating on the name of
उन्हें
God?
रोते भी है वैसे
You are giving money to that man, thinking that you have given on the name of Prabhu, Ram
हेलो
and
हेलो
God.
हेलो हेलो
Isn't it? That man goes away after collecting money from your
हेलो
city.
हेलो
Now it becomes your
क्या
foremost duty to constitute a committee of 5 or 6 members and follow him to see whether God ever comes to take that money from him. If you try to find out the fact in this manner, that man will ask you to take your money back because neither God has come nor he will ever come to take the money. Actually, what happens? That money is not meant for God. Rather, it is consumed for their personal benefits by the people who collect it from you on the name of God. With that money, they support themselves and their families. There are laws to prevent thefts and acts of cheating in our country. But is there any law prohibiting this type of cheating on the name of God? Is there any panel of judges and advocates to trace out whether God has ever come to take those 7 or 8 lakh of rupees collected from you on the name of God? Has anyone inquired it? It must be confirmed. People give money or charity to God and not to man, who bothers about whether God comes to take that money or not. Our second question is, does God need money? If he actually needs it, why does he not come to you directly or straightforwardly? Can anyone stop that power? Can anyone stop that God? He doesn't need any mediators. If he needs money, he would come directly because then you will feel great happiness. Since on one hand, you will have the vision of God, on the other hand, you will have satisfaction that you have actually given the money to God with your own hands. Now tell honestly whether God has ever come to you. No, not at all. Only human beings come to take away the money from you. Spiritual saints have not written in any scripture that you should give money to God. It is the work of a man that he robs the people of their money on the name of God. And this business on the name of God is a wonderful one. It might have happened at your place also. We held a spiritual discourse at a place in a very big city of Haryana, which was also attending a certain wealthy merchants. They asked me, Maharajji, what is your fee? Means that charges will you take from the people for your preachings? I said, our fee is that you should spare time for 2 hours only, listen spiritual congregation, and then go after taking prasad free of cost. On listening my reply, they felt surprised and further asked if I wanted any donation or offering. I replied, oh brothers, I don't need any money or offering or donation from you, since I am a humble servant of God and I will present before you the entire truth as per his command. But why are you asking for fee or donation again and again? They said that once a religious person had come and preached them about God for 7 days. He used to take 2 lakh of rupees per day. In this way, we gave 14 lakh of rupees to him. They further told me that they didn't tell all this to common man, and actually he had collected this money from some selected rich merchants. Now, please see, this is what these so-called religious people usually do these days. It has also been noticed that there are some companies which sponsor the so-called religious programs even, and those companies do all this for the sake of their advertisements and consequential benefits. Thus both the partners gain thereof. Can there be any other business better than this? He simply robbed 14 lakh rupees of the people in 7 days without spending even a single penny from his pocket. It is like gains without pains. For this, they need no academic degree and nor even have to fear of any tax raid. They simply tell you what is written in the scripture of great men and get money from public in return. There can be no other cheating worse than this. The wealth amassed in this ugly way may give pleasure to those people only for some time, but ultimately it will definitely work as a poison for them. You will see those people suffering badly who deceive others on the name of God. It is painful to note that man has belittled God, the creator of the universe, to such an extent that God's today's man thinks to have bought him. Isn't it so? I frankly inform all of you that God will certainly punish those who deceive the innocent public on the name of God, but there may be some delay. I don't call anyone as bad, but cannot help exposing this prevalent evil in the society because of which fate of the people in God is decreasing day by day, and it is matter of great concern for the nation. So, brothers, this money affairs has not even spared the field of religious dignitaries. They have nothing to do except to read out the scriptures of great men in a sweet voice and tune, and you people appreciate them as if they have presented before you something wonderful. Oh, brothers, whom are you appreciating? If there is anything to wonder or to praise, that is the writer of that scripture only. What is there to appreciate about the scripture? If you are educated, if you can also read it conveniently, I have read almost all the scriptures and I have found nowhere written that only that person can have access to God who will sing in tune. Undoubtedly, it has rather been written that those who remember God without any hypocrisy and pretension shall certainly find Him. But this deceitful man has thought God to be pleasing like a child. Whenever a man goes to the place of worship, whom he believes in, he never goes empty handed. Either he has money or flowers or some eatable with him which he offers to God, whether you believe it or not. He goes with a pride that he is going to give something to God. There were some merchants sitting together. One of them was saying that he had given 500 rupees to God. The other person said that he had given 10,000 rupees. Still, on the other hand, one said that has offered silver coins. And one of them said that going to God. So, brothers, when you are going to give him something, then how can he give you anything? When you are dominated by your ego, then God will neither take nor give you anything. Your offerings are digested only by the mediators. Man becomes satisfied by saying that he has given something to God. If you really feel that God is there, go empty handed. Undo all your evils before going to Him so that He may bestow the extreme happiness up to the brim by His grace. Also keep it in mind that God is not a beggar, but He is a donor or a benefactor. Beggar is today's man. That is why an educated man of today is increasing his distance from God because he thinks that money is another name of God. Some students from Delhi side met me and said, Maharaji, our faith in Prabhu, Ram, Ishwar, Allah, God, Vaheguru and Hari Om is decreasing day by day. I asked them, the reasons were the same. They told me when somebody comes to our houses, he asks for money or something else in the name of God, Ram, Allah and Vaheguru. Also, if you go to any place of God, Ram, Allah and Vaheguru, still we have to pay either money or something else there. Because otherwise we are not given the prasad. The students further told me that from this it is evident that God is a beggar. Actually, they were having wrong conception about God. On asking whether God had ever appeared on their doors to beg from them, they admitted that it had never happened so. They were further asked, then who comes to your door to beg? Man or God? They confirmed that only man comes to beg on their doors. I also advised them to hide themselves in the place of worship, where they go and put the money before God, Ram, Allah and Vaheguru, and then observe with their own eyes as to who picks up the money put by them, whether God or a man pocket is. Whether God or a man pockets it. They immediately replied that money is picked up from there only by a man and not by God. Then I said, man can be beggar. How can you call God a beggar? I challenge the greatest scientist of the day to prove that God is a beggar. God is not a beggar. God is a benefactor. He always bestowed His grace. He is bestowing and will always continues to do so. He had always filled the empty pocket. Is filling and will always do so in future as well. Had God been desirous of money, the kings and other millionaires would have imprisoned him in their places, saying that they would give him 2000 million rupees instantaneously, and he is not supposed to go out of their home because otherwise he will have to go to 2000 million people to collect that much amount of money. But this is not true, because Kabir ji, Ravidas ji, Sheikh Farid ji, Namdev ji and the like other, they were poor, had definitely access to God. Once there had been a great devotee of God known by the name Dhanna. He had not offered money to God, he simply had presented two big millet chapatis to God, saying, "Have these chapatis, God, if you wish to, otherwise it is your sweet will." Then God appeared inside him and he had the vision of God. Now, if something originates from outside, then if it can be seen by all, that is why the Brahmin who gave Dhanna the stone could not see God, because Dhanna had the vision of God only from inside, and later on he could also see God in each and every particle. But that Brahmin had not purified those eyes which could envision God. So, brothers, we simply mean that God can never be attained by money. But see how man tries to buy God with money. There has been a true incident with a known person. He invested 2.5 lakh of rupees in a business. All of a sudden, he felt the seeming loss in his business due to reduction in market rates. Actually, God is remembered more when business is in loss or one faces any disaster, death, or one has to face an interview, or even one's examination is drawing near. So the above said person also started remembering God whom he had faith in. I will not specify as to who he was so that he may not feel adverse about it. He prayed to God, "O God, I offer you prasad of 125 rupees. If you double the amount which I have invested in my business, that is, make it 5 lakh of rupees." Imagine how cleverly he tries to cheat God. "I ask you a simple of doubling your amount in lakhs. Can he not arrange prasad worth only 125 rupees for himself?" Now see, how does he offer prasad? Actually, what happens when one apprehends the loss in business? He replies his brain and works laboriously in order to avoid the seeming loss. Consequently, he saved from the expected loss and gained profit. He takes bath and goes to God with every delicious and fragrant prasad prepared in pure ghee. He doesn't even present the container of prasad to God. He bows his head, takes out one piece from that container and offers it to God. Rest of the prasad is distributed among his children, relatives, friends, and himself. Now he says that he has given the promised prasad to God. Again he is cheating God. Oh brother, you had told that you will offer him prasad worth on 125 rupees, but actually had given him only one piece from prasad. Did God not catch hold of your hand, saying, "O fool, do you try to cheat me even? Place the whole container here." After all, God is omniscient. He should have caught your hand. Then why did he not do like this? Because God neither asks for prasad from anyone, after nor does he eat it. You yourself offered, and after consuming it yourself, you said that God had accepted it. How wonderful is the human being? A person met me after I had just finished spiritual congregation at Bandipur in Rajasthan state. He said, "Maharaj ji, rest, everything is alright. But so far as prasad is concerned, we should think that God will automatically eat when man eats because God is man. I replied, your formula is excellent, age is fretful. God forbids you may murder someone in future. Policemen shall come to arrest you. Then you should apply your formula. Tell the police that you are not murdered, but inside you is the murdered. God inside you is the murderer. And so the police should arrest the God only for the murder. Tell me, whom the police will arrest? God or you? Now that gentleman replied that, in this case police would arrest him only because their role would have been done by him. Then I told him that as he had done everything himself in that murder case and God had done nothing. Similar is the case of Prashad. God has done nothing and all has been done by man himself. Man himself has offered Prashad to him. He himself has consumed it. He is telling that God has accepted the Prashad. Man can be a beggar, but a true saint cannot be so. What the spiritual saints preach is a great question. Those who are spiritual saints never ask for money or any worldly offering because a saint is he who has envisioned beyond Swami, the Almighty. Now, what is left for him to beg when he has an access to the omnipotent God? The saints say, O brother, whosoever beget, bringeth self to spiritual death. Better die than beg. For us each. That is what Sadguru does eat. That is what Sadguru does teach. On one side you claim yourself to be a real devotee of God, the omnipotent, and on the other side you beg from the human beings. These two things are contrary. You beg and eat, but God is defamed. Characteristics of spiritual saints. Who are the true saints? Servants or messengers of God believe in all castes and religions. I too teach everybody to love one another. Perfect saints never call one particular religion as good and the other as bad. It is not the characteristic of the saints to mislead the innocent public by telling his own religion better and others worse, which breeds discord, strife, or conflict in the society. It is the job of selfish persons only. Saints never curse anyone. Rather, they pray to Prabhu Allah God and Vaheguru to remove the sufferings of humanity. Saints never deceive others on the name of God. It is not the job of saints to tell something about God to the innocent people and run away after collecting money in return. How are saints recognized? Spiritual saints may anywhere be, wish all beings prosperity. They love all, may be anyone, and have enmity with none. Saints do not breed contempt. They pray for the good of all. Even the people use bad words for them. Saints still pray to God for their well-being because saints know that such people are encircled by evil thoughts but are not bad themselves. Avoid hypocrisy and pretension. These days, hypocrisies are prevalent beyond description. Man robs others on the name of God by using different methods. Every great man, whether Hindu, Muslim, Sikh or Christian, has agreed on one point that man can visualize God if he wishes to do so. But if someone tells you that you need ghee and milk to offer to God for visualizing Him, then in our opinion that sentence on which all great men had agreed should have been like this, that only that man can visualize God who has got ghee and milk with him. In fact, the great men of all religions have not written so anywhere. We all know that in our country there are such people who even do not get their 2 square meals. These poor people sleep while crying of hunger. How a person who is incapable of getting even 2 square meals for him can manage ghee and milk for God. God is not at all fond of ghee and milk. Let us suppose for a moment that if he is, then how much an ordinary man can provide him? The rich man may give 2 to 4 quintals of milk and ghee, and an ordinary man or average man may give 10 to 15 liters of that. If God is so fond of these items, will he not sit in the milk plant or the dairy farm to have milk and ghee to his heart's content? There will be no one there to stop him. These are only the ways devised by man to gather the eatables for himself. God doesn't take anyone's ghee and milk. It is man's wrong notion that God eats and drinks. If God really takes something, he should at least give blessings in return. Is he so hungry of these eatables that he digests them and does not utter even a single word of blessing? In case he utters, then everyone will come to know that he is really God. Just think over. Can man imprison God by his wit and cunningness? Will God stay at one place only? He is omnipresent. Oh, brothers, God can neither be found by presenting milk and ghee nor by money. It is an automatic and profitable business on the name of God. Whether the question of loss does not arise. It is quite sure that you have to speak for 2 hours only, and a lot of wealth is collected in return, single penny from your pocket. But actually, there is a great invisible loss. One comes to know this only when that hidden disaster in the form of punishment by God falls upon him. It leaves its sphere after effects and the man becomes restless. So, brothers, all this is hypocrisy and nothing else. And moreover, how man offers milk to God is yet to be intimated. I tell you, what I had seen in district Shri Ganganagar, a person was going for offering milk to a place of worship. I also went with him there. In the fields, for bricks were placed under a tree, and local people consider it God or Baba. So that gentleman was going to offer milk to that Baba. I asked him why he was going to offer, what he was going to offer. Milk. I requested to show him. I requested to show me the milk. I just dipped my finger in the milk and it didn't even stick to the finger. It was like water. I asked, are you not unfair to God even? He said he offered kachi lassi, a mixture of more water and less milk to God. I, you right. Do you think God to suffer from indigestion if pure milk is offered to him? It will not happen at all, and so you must bring pure milk for him. He was taken aback and said, actually, this is not the fact. If you want to know, then listen. There was not sufficient milk at home, so I mixed 400 grams water to 200 grams of milk for God. Rest of the milk at home will be used for preparing tea for the family. I have done the same thing so many times. He was right because God could not catch hold of his arm for doing so. This is man's notion for God and his method for approaching him. The matter does not end here. There are so many other hypocrisies prevailing here. For example, a section of people consider that if you want to attain God, wear clothes of yellow or red color or of any other particular color. Think over it. Could God be attained by putting on dress of a particular color? Then it would have been quite easy. You are quite sensible. Get 2 pairs of dresses of a particular taste, put it off when you want to bid farewell to him. Oh, brothers, it is mere hypocrisy, and no one can attain God simply by putting on clothes of any particular color. If you are one with God, never pressurize others with ostentations and stunt. After all, why do some people ostentatious? Just to get appreciation, just to get appreciator from the innocent people who think that he is God's great devotee. More the appreciation, the bigger is the heaps of notes or money. Nowadays, the friends, nowadays, words of this type crossed all limits. If you go to a so-called priest who thinks himself to be God's representative, he wishes his feet to be pampered, forgetting himself, relaxed, and also expects some offering or donation. Actually, the reward should be given to the person who is pressing down the feet. But the fact is that one has to press the feet and also has to offer money. Rather, he has to pay the tax for the blessing. One doesn't get blessings without paying fee. What a wonder! Remember, God's grace cannot be bought with money. God's pleasures and bounties cannot be had by pressing anybody's feet. If you really have an urge and willing to touch God's feet, then inculcate in your heart a longing for God. You can realize God through inner feelings because God is inside you. After showing off, it becomes a fraud and a hypocrisy. It has been observed by me that when some person fears loss in his business, he goes to the person whom he thinks is near and dear to God and knows certain business tracts and knows certain business tracts. That so-called people, disabled person, after listening to him says that his stars are not in proper position. One of the 9 planets is hindrance in the ways of his progress. He demands great offerings for the removal of that obstacle. He tells him to take rest at home and ensures him that there will be gain of lakhs of rupees through the prayers to God, which he would do on his behalf. He further demands rupees 500 for the recitation of hymns and rites. Hymns or rites. How strange! Had he been powerful enough to remove such impediments by his prayers, he would have set right his own planets and first and become a millionaire. Then there would not have been any need to ask for just 500 rupees from you. But today's man is engrossed in such superstitions without thinking so. I have told you what I saw myself because I happened to be with the one who gave 500 rupees for the purpose. There are some other hypocrisies like this. A person was wandering here and there in the market. I called that gentleman and said, "What do you have with you?" He replied that he had with him seeds of a tree which are used in rosaries. That seed may have different number of sides. He had a talisman also. On that something was written in Urdu and Persian language. He had finger rings also. I asked him to show those things. He asked him to show those things. He asked me which religion I had faith in. I replied that I believed in all the religions. He asked me this very question because such people try to cheat others by showing things relating to their religion. Since I have told him that I believe in all the religions, then he brought up all the things he had. He told me if someone puts on those seeds around the neck, those would provide more energy and increase our intelligence. Then he showed me a talisman, finger rings, and told that this would help me in becoming a millionaire if I put on those rings in my finger. He further told me that there was a coral bead fixed in a ring which would perish my catastrophe. I wondered at his statement because straightway he had talked of profits worth lakhs of rupees instead of thousands. He did so only to surprise and cheat the people. He told me the different prices of all the rings 400 rupees. 800 rupees and 1000, etc. The rate was fixed according to the standard of the customer. If one wants a large amount of money, then he should purchase a ring of the highest price. Now think over that man comes at your doorstep to show you such thing that would just read the direction of the planets and you will become a millionaire. He gives you one ring, but he himself has so many rings. Why doesn't he put on 20 rings in all the fingers of his hands and feet and become here in the seconds? Thereafter, he will also not have to go to the streets to sell such things. It is quite clear that when you give 800 rupees, your catastrophe may or may not perish, but the person who gets 800 rupees, his worries are gone since he purchases his eatables for at least 1 month. This is a fact which is related to money business and have no concern with God. This is entirely a hypocrisy and deception. Saint Kabir ji says, O gentlemen, serenely deliberate on, and behold within your own that hypocrisy nowhere led, but to cycle birth and death. Nothing lies in hypocrisy. If you want to attain God, search Him from within. Actually, man is being misled because there are rare people who speak the truth. Only he can tell the truth who has experienced and observed it. How a person whose only source of income is to rob others on the name of God can tell you that God needs no money? Why will he dig his own grave? Sometimes you might have listened to people saying, give us money on the name of God. If you give us something, you will get it back multiplied tenfold. You must have listened about this formula to rob others. So brothers, if someone says to you, give me 1 rupee and take rupee 10, then you should say to him with folded hands, Bhagat ji, take this 1000 rupee. Then spread your wallet before him. He would ask you, why had you spread this wallet before him? Then you can tell him that he had previously admitted that the amount would become 10 times. At this Bhagatji, the so-called devotee of God will feel stuttered. Why? Because he is not prepared to give you 10 times money at that very moment. He would say, you would receive that money at your home. See that when he is not able to provide you anything in your presence, how could you believe that he would manage it to you at your home? This is all hypocrisy and robbery on the name of God. So you should beware of it. Sometimes you give donation etc. on the name of God, and in return you often get duly signed receipt. Think it over. Does any of these receipts bear the signature of God? If not, then how did you believe that your money has been received by God? Our forefathers often said, if anyone comes at your doorsteps, you should not return him empty-handed. I agree to this point to some extent, but not completely. If some healthy and well-built person comes at your doorsteps to beg, do not give him even a single penny in the form of alms. Oh brother, go and work hard for the whole of the days, and in the evening we will also give you rupees 20 thereof. You have often heard your elders, spiritual saints and patriots saying that this land of our produces gold. In fact, it has a capacity to produce gold, but it would fail to do so if such healthy persons begin to beg alms from others, because from where will the gold come if they do not work hard? So this is the person for the economic backwardness of our country. You might have observed, and we also have seen at many places in Madhya Pradesh, that the men sit idle at their homes while their women work hard and ask them, Are you sitting in the hope that God will bestow a shower of wealth upon you and fill your wallet? Do hard labor since God has given you a sound body. The reason to adopt begging as a profession by the people is that they do not want to work hard. Listen, you have to devote a part of your life for obtaining a degree, whether it is of BA, MA or any other one. After that, you will also have a after that, you will also have to spend some time to undergo a training before you are entitled to get a job. The people who beg on the name of God do not have to spend any time for getting a degree or diploma. They also need not spend any part of their life in getting the requisite training. What they simply have to do is to wear clothes of some special color, knock at the door and spread their wallets. They have to do nothing more. They have to do nothing more. And the so-called philanthropists or donors fill up their wallets. This is not a hard-earned money. Those who eat it are sinners, and those who encourage them to beg are also sinners. This is the root cause for the economic backwardness of our country. Our land is good and fertile. These are the people who encourage economic backwardness by giving alms to physically well-built people just because of the particular kind of dress you wear. Dress they wear. Such things happen at many places. Do you know what these beggars do with the money? They drink alcohol, lose their senses consequently, and murder someone. Now think over it. What will you get in return of your donation? It is correct that while giving alms, you had a feeling that you are giving it to a devotee of God. But what is the reality? What happened actually? You gave the money to buy alcohol, which spoiled the mind to the extent of murdering somebody. So, brothers, instead of virtuousness, you earn a burden or heavy load of sins. Your money, while staying at home, help for right cause. If someone, whether man, bird, or animal, who is disabled and helpless, comes to you for help, you must arrange food or water for him. The money you spend on food will be the true donation in this age of vice. I am going to tell you more about the true donation. If you really want to donate something which is absolutely right according to the spiritual sense and also according to the economic conditions which are prevailing in our country, then you should have a glance at your neighborhood in your locality. If there is any person who is suffering from some ailment and is unable to get the treatment for himself, you must donate money to such a person and save his life. This is the true donation and charity in this age of vice. Suppose there is a person who has a property like a piece of land or house or shop. Help him not with the money, but with the technique of doing hard labor. Otherwise, he would become lazy and dependent. Instruct him to work hard. This is absolutely the right way to give charity. The money spent in the service of humanity is the true subscription in this age of vice, which provides you with the fruit in the end. We do not profit you from giving donations, but it should be given to the right or the needy people. You must keep one thing in your mind, that God is only a benefactor and not a beggar. This is the only doctrine which is to be followed by you. If once the people start realizing this thing, then this whole world would be reformed in no time, because begging on the name of God is a robbery and it is taking the individual away from God. With the widening of this gap between man and God, the evil and oppressive deeds are increasing day by day. Sometimes people say that God visits a place which is quite clean and full of fragrance. For example, once an evildoer, non-vegetarian and drunkard, learned from somewhere the following phrase: घर का उजरा साफ कर जाना के आने के लिए. It means sweep your courtyard to receive God. The deep and spiritual meaning of this phrase is that one should make one's body neat and clean internally by wiping out the evil thoughts if he or she wants to enjoy the divine vision of God. But what the above evil doer did, he swept the country yard of his house, and there away all the boxes and empty bottle of liquor. He lighted 4 or 5 incense sticks and sat waiting for God. I went to him and asked him for the cause of changes he had brought in his house. He replied that he had heard from somewhere the phrase, sweep your courtyard to receive God. That is why I have swept my house and made it so neat and clean that there is fragrance everywhere. He asked me if God would come or not. I was surprised at his question and made him aware that Almighty God is not so innocent or simple minded as you have thought of him. You have been killing the animals and drinking liquor for the whole of your life, and now thinking that he would come to you just because of this perfume. Had he been fond of incense, he would have stayed at the factory manufacturing perfumes. At this, he felt convinced and realized the truth. What I mean to say is that people employ to make God a tool for the fulfillment of their selfish desires. Avoid superstitions. Some people say that a man should live in the forest if he wants to meet God. Had it been true, then all the animals and birds who live in the forest would have turned into a desolate place. There are some others who say that one can meet God by spending his life in the deserted places. But had it also been true, a bird called owl, who is permanent dwellers of the desolate places, must have envisioned God, but it has never happened so. Still, some others say that you can meet God by sitting continuously in cold water and by pouring a stream of cold water on your head continuously. I made them aware that one who would practice it in winter is sure to meet God the other way because he would get frozen and die. In fact, if one can meet God by doing this practice, then the frogs and fishes must have approached God before any other individual could do so. Some other people say that one can find God by sitting near the fire, but there is nothing like this. Had it been possible, then the tropical desert must have found God. It is correct that one can make one's body stronger and tolerant by adopting these physical practices, but can never meet God by doing so. There are also many other misleading beliefs in various sections of our society. We often see people leaving their homes for some business and then coming back after a few seconds or minutes suddenly only because someone had sneezed when they just left the home. When asked, they replied that sneezing would create disturbances in their work, which they were going to perform. What a strange is. If sneezing has a capacity to create disturbances in the business of others, then the people who are jealous of each other should use this tool against their enemies and wipe out them all by repeated sneezing, which can be conveniently caused by smelling. Nothing wrong ever happens as a result of such blind beliefs. Another example of superstition, which is generally observed even among the educated people, is that a person who leaves for some necessary work returns home if his way is crossed by a cat. When asked for the logic, he replies that crossing the path by a cat is an ill omen. I asked such person, was special duty road ever constructed for the cats to walk on? They are the wild creatures, not they, but they cross their way. I have also seen a truck driver beating the road with his shoes. I asked, "Why are you doing like this?" He replied that a cat had closed his way, which was an ill omen. That is why he had stopped his vehicle at once and started doing like this. Oh, brother, the cat dug a pit on the road, which can harm your vehicle. It has just closed the road as a routine. Nothing wrong can happen to you. It is just a misbelief. I have generally seen the people of different religions, and particularly the women, observing fast on some day or the other. There are many kinds of fast which are observed by the people of different religions. For example, for comforts of life, profits or gains in business and by others, but there is a special kind of fast which is observed by the women on some other particular day, Karwa Chauth, wishing for the long life of their husbands. I also came across an elderly woman who had kept a fast for the long life of her husband. I asked that lady as to how many times she had observed this fast in a year. She replied, only once a year. I was surprised, that is all. Only this much of love for your husband. I suggested her to be on fast at least for a month or two, so that the life of her husband might be of Hanumanji. She said, "You do not know anything about this. It is kept only once." After a few days, I again had to visit her home because her husband had expired. I asked her, "Mataji, you had observed fast for the sake of long life of your husband only a few days ago, but he has left the world while you are here on this earth. What has happened?" Then she found no reason for arguments and related truth. She said that her mother-in-law used to keep this fast and she in turn had advised her to do so, and that is why she has observing this fast every year. There is no truth in these fast. There is no truth in these fast. It has become a tradition or custom only. Now actually what happens on this day is that these mothers and sisters get up early in the morning at about 3 to 4 a.m. and prepare a special kind of sweet item called churma in the pure ghee and many other sweets. They keep on gulping all these tables one after the other as long as the sun does not rise. If anyone interrupts them to say, "Keep silence, we are fast." In the evening, there is a great rush on the roofs of the as women in large groups keep standing there waiting for the appearance of moon. What did they do? That is not known to me. But the fact remains that they again gulp a huge quantity of fruit, etc. I am surprised to see what type of fasting it is. They spend the money which equals the expenditure of one full month. If one husband dares to ask that she has spent a lot, his wife replies that she has done all this only for the best wishes of his long life and not for one place, not for one not for anyone else. Listening this, he becomes silent. Oh brothers, nothing lies in these superstition. These are just blind beliefs. These are just blind belief and have nothing to do with the removal of any calamity or realization of God. Now have a glance upon the blind beliefs connected with the days of the week. This is an incident of 1982 when I was a student. I used to sit in a group of people observing different religions. There were often arguments upon the days of the week to decide which day was the best. The one sitting on my right side said, "Mangal Kam Mangal means Tuesday is the best day for starting a new work, or it is blissful to begin a work on Tuesday." The one sitting on the left side said, "No, it is not so." I asked him that then he should suggest what is right. The latter began to say, "Mangal Lagave Sangal means Tuesday is not good. It will hold you by change and the work will not go on properly." He suggested that Wednesday is the best day for starting a new work because Buddhikam, should the work started on this day is accomplished easily in a good manner. Now the former again argued, saying, Buddh lagave yudh. That means if you start any business on Wednesday, then there will be quarrels in your families. Then he asked them if there were any good day left in the week. Someone says that Thursday is not good, the other says that Saturday is bad. I told them that we move according to your ideas. We have to sleep at home because no day is good to do any work as declared by you. Some people even consider some numbers as unlucky and bad. All people are never of the same opinion. There are others also who do not believe in these superstitions, but the majority of the people believe in so. Brother, if you get a profit of lakhs of rupees on a day, which you consider a bad day, will you distribute that money among the poor? No, you will never do like this. You will keep it in your pocket. You will keep it in your locker. If someone suggests you to part with that money because you have not got it on the good day, you would not listen to him. Suppose a son is born in somebody's house on a particular day, which is considered bad. Will he disown or discard him because his son is born on a bad day? But he would not do like this because a good thing has been received by him. So, brothers, if the thing received by you on a particular day is good, then how the day can be considered bad? All the day created by God are good. None is bad. It is only a doubt or blind belief followed by man himself. The great men say, Jogi, the roamer, knoweth no date or day, neither season nor month he can say. Almighty who all these delivers, alone doth know of universe. The creator of this universe is not so innocent that he will do anything wrong. He is infallible and he has made day, night and everything for the benefit of the humanity. He is omnipotent and omniscient. So, brothers, nothing is bad. If there is anything bad in this world, these are the misdeeds done by man. The Almighty has provided him with the autonomy to do the deeds. But it is sure that man would have to suffer for his evil deeds. I have seen with my own eyes. People are doing misdeeds and then suffering on account of the same. It is not a falsehood but an absolute reality that as one sows, so shall one reap. When an individual has to face the bitterness or pungency of his deeds, he blames the days for it. The reality is that he suffers for his own evil deeds. He can be saved from his bad karmas or bad deeds only by a devoted meditation of God. But it should be true devotion and not an ostentation. Because you can earn wealth with ostentation, but not the love of God. The great men and saints of the great men and saints do not believe in these hypocrisies and superstitions. If you remember God and recite His name devotedly, He would surely meet you and will wipe out your own bad deeds. He has a capacity to perform miracles. He can turn blunders committed by you into a very small negligence. The true name of God can convert a stake into spike. I have seen him doing such miracles with my own eyes. But the only thing needed is true devotion without any display. But the ostentation or the habit of making a display is prevalent in such a measure that it is beyond description. The individuals are being captured in it very badly. Dear friends, salvation through meditation. It is generally observed that the people belonging to almost all the religions recite the name of God using a string of rosary. They keep on telling the beads of the rosary all the time to make it show that they are remembering God. It is nothing else but a slunt or display. Once I happened to see such a person who was displaying that he was remembering God with the help of a rosary. Suddenly his grandson approached him and he broke some glassware which was lying near his bed. At this, the old man grew angry. He forgot the name of God and began to abuse him, saying, "May you die and suffer destruction. What have you done?" He went on repeating the abuses on a mass scale, once after the other, one after the other. But the strange thing that I noted was that he kept on telling the beads of the rosary as before. Now you can just imagine if he was moving the beads of the rosary on the name of God or using it for abusing his grandson. Please think over what Kabir Sahib Ji had said. Leave the artificially of beads telling, "Behold Almighty by minds consoling." It means not to use your mind, not to use your hands, simply in telling the beads of a rosary, but involve your mind in doing so, because the former is of no use. It is certain that you will be considered a devotee of God in the eyes of the people because they will see you doing so. But it is of no use to you. You can realize God only by discarding the evil thoughts of your mind. There is another true description. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji loved and respected all the religions, castes and tribes. Once a Muslim brother went to the emperor and told him that a spiritual saint who had arrived there would not pray to God in the mosque. The Maulvi, the priest of the mosque, was from Guruji that he would have to say his prayer in the mosque with the king and the Maulvi. Guruji agreed to it without any hesitation, saying that all were the children of the same God and went to the mosque for prayer. The emperor and the Maulvi began to recite their namaz or prayer. Guru Sahib also sat in one corner in a very easy posture. After the prayer was over, both of them, the Maulvi and the emperor, got angry at this. The king said to Guruji, "O spiritual saint, you have not obeyed my order and have not recited the prayer." Guruji replied, "You had asked me to pray with your good self and Maulviji, but neither of you actually recited the holy namaz. There was no one here with whom I could say my prayers." The emperor was surprised and said, "What a strange thing! Both of us are standing before you, the Maulvi and I myself." Guruji replied, "This Maulvi of yours was worried because his cow has given birth to a calf, and he was perturbed that the calf might not suckle the milk of the cow. His mind was involved in this worry, and he was just murmuring the prayer when asked by the emperor. Maulvi said it was really so. I was worried about my calf." Now the emperor said, "But I was here with you and you could have recited your prayer with me." Then Guruji replied, "O king, you were also thoughtfully busy in buying horses at Kabul while saying your prayer, and no one was here." The emperor agreed with Guruji. Both of them fell on the feet of Guruji and accepted that they had been only murmuring the prayers, but mentally they were not present there. Therefore, such a prayer is of no use when you are wandering somewhere else in your thoughts while at meditation. You only move your lips and keep on thinking about your business and means of cheating others, about your customers and neighbors. You cannot find God in this way. So, brothers, you should not do like this. You should meditate with true devotion of heart and soul. Then and only then you would be able to enjoy the divine vision of God. Man is being separated from God because of all these vanities, pretensions, and hypocrisies prevalent in the recitation of God's name. Under the influences of the such evils, He refuses to accept the existence of God and soul. Such a consequence, the people are becoming atheists. There is an example given by the great man to make the individual aware of ignorance. Once upon a time, there was a meeting of owls and bats. The subject of their discussion was that there is no sun in the universe. Most of the living creatures accept the existence of sun because they actually see it with their eyes. But the owls and bats argued that there is no sun. They asked one of the aged owls if there was sun in the universe or not. He replied, I have been listening to them, living creatures who can see in daylight. That sun is there, in my opinion. They are just boasting and gossiping, but actually there is no sun. A swam was also present there. He said, oh brothers, listen, sun is there in the universe, no doubt, but you don't have such eyes which can see it. So like this, it is a wonder to hear that there is no God, God is omnipresent, no doubt, but an atheist does not have that particular eye to have his vision. People sometimes question that what kind of eyes are those through which God is seen. The great men have told different are radiant eyes wherein the God lies. To tell you frankly, eyes are the same, but the aspect of visualization in different. If you instill the drops or medicine of God's devotion in them, these very eyes which look towards the unreal materialistic things of this world will be capable of seeing the internal realities of your soul. But these will become capable only through the devotion of God and not more suggesting. Now the question arises, what for the individual has come here in this world, what is the purpose of coming here and what is he doing? Oh brothers, all these worldly affairs in which you are busy will not serve your purpose. Is there anything which will go along with your soul when it will leave this body? We agree to the arguments that worldly affairs are necessary for our survival in this world, but you should also do something which could accompany your soul at the time of your ultimate departure from this universe. Secondly, you eat a lot for the survival and fitness of your body, which makes you strong and powerful. But do you eat anything for the survival of your soul, which is responsible for keeping you alive? So, dear friends, you have heard ritualistic words and thoughts, ideas that will recreate, regenerate, and rejuvenate you, and definitely our nation will be rejuvenated and recreated, reformed, reoperated by listening such holistic words of the God or Lord. Thank you, dear friends. May God bless all of us. Your presence is praiseworthy and admirable. Thank you. Thank you.